Hey friends! First of all, I wore this outfit for a TikTok video. I spent a long time on my makeup, so I wasn't about to change it out. I figured I would wear it here. It's a lavender lover's dream, so why not? Anyway, moving on. Welcome to this week's Chai Day Friday, a weekly segment where I drink and spill tea on a subject y'all asked me to talk about. This week's topic is women shaming women, which is a serious issue in the South Asian community. This subject honestly couldn't have come at a better time, and I'm glad I'm not the only one who's noticed this. Just to talk about some of my own experiences here, I have noticed that most of the hate and judgment that I receive on social media comes from none other than South Asian, Desi women. I actually just got this gem this week, which was in response to me asking a really simple question about what reaction videos people want to see me make on this channel. Of course, upon further investigation, this was from none other than a fellow Desi woman. I have noticed that it's not just the women, there are plenty of Desi men who love slinging mud at their own. I mean, we're literally from a country of over 1 billion people, and imagine the strides we'd make if we were all just a little bit more supportive of one another. Now, I'm not a psychologist, and I don't have a degree when it comes to the inner workings of the mind, but here's why I think this happens. When I was growing up, I noticed that my parents, my cousin's parents, and my Desi friends' parents all instilled the value of competition deep within us. You'd come home after getting a 95% on your math test and you'd hear all about how Sunita Auntie's kid got 100%. You should have focused more. Where's that 5% on your grade? So now you're like, well, I'm done with Sunita Auntie's kid. I never want to hear about this kid again. Or you decide you're going to pop off on your next test and beat Sunita Auntie's kid's test score. One of the two are happening. You'd make one mistake at home or try and argue a point, and then you'd find yourself being compared to your cousins. Why can't you be more like them? It still hurts. Now, along with this, as a woman for sure, if you gained a fraction of a pound, you'd hear all about this, and then you'd be compared to the family members and friends who were all still deemed desirable. And then as you grew up, you'd hear all about the family members and friends who got into the Ivy League schools, Ivy League beta, and you were not at like Harvard or whatever. And then these same family members and friends all had the best jobs at Google or Facebook or whatever other tech giant company. And you had nothing to show for, since your career was somehow lesser than theirs because you decided to be an English major. I'm obviously starting to talk about myself here, so let's get back on track. But you see where I'm going here, right? Competition. It's been drilled into our heads since we were kids. Now, competition can be a very good thing, provided that the other person is being used as inspiration, and it was your child who sought them out as a source of inspo on their own. Not a way for parents to degrade or compare their own children, because what happens here is a buildup of resentment. Now, anytime the kids who dealt with this see someone who's living the ideal life, or represent something that they're lacking in, they suddenly find themselves upset at none other than themselves. So most of these people who come at you and drag you and try and bring you down, please know that this is 1,000,000% about them and not about you. Most of these people have not yet found the brilliance within themselves. They haven't been able to extract themselves from this negative narrative and competitive mindset. When it comes to South Asian women, not only are all these pressures placed on them, but they're also quite literally harassed by their own families to fit into a ridiculous set of standards. When it comes to your appearance, you have to be fair, slim, and lovely, or else none of the good boys are gonna want to marry you. And that's a whole new type of competition, competing for a man. Like what? You're also expected to be a Michelin star chef, a superstar cleaner and organizer, and you have to bear children at the right age, whatever that means, whether you're ready or not. You've also got to dress modestly because God forbid you feel confident wearing something that's bearing a little bit of midriff or whatever else you want to. You'll hear all about that, especially if your confidence is radiating bad energy from every fiber of your being. Then for sure you're going to be torn down. I believe that most of the shaming that I receive from South Asian women is because they see something that they only think they're lacking within themselves. It doesn't actually mean that they're lacking in any way, shape, or form, because they're not. But they're not 100% confident in their own selves. So now they gotta try and drag you down because misery loves company, baby. So if you find yourself feeling the need to shame other women, I highly suggest that you hold yourself back and reflect upon what it is that you're insecure about and work on that before trying to hurt someone else. And if you're on the receiving end of the hate, please know that it's not about you and try not to let it affect you. This is easier said than done, but don't give anyone else the power to dull your shine because you're amazing.